Welcome to I Scream, You Scream, your weekly scoop of the most chilling histories, mysteries, and paranormal perplexities. My name's Gina.
And I'm Kathryn.
And this month, we're talking about aliens while we have ice cream that incorporates green in some way. Friendly reminder that this episode is brought to you by Clobert Money Coach. If you are ready to start investing but not sure exactly how to get started, visit getlazynow.com. But until then, grab a spoon and let's dig in.
Yay. Final day. Do you have any thoughts on your ice cream?
Well, okay, I see what just happened in my brain. You said final day, and then my brain started singing the Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead song from The Wizard of Oz. And I was like, why is my brain doing that? And then I realized my ice cream is green. So it was doing the Witch from The Wizard of Oz is Dead thing.
Wait, I love how can I explain to this person what my brain just did situations, because that sounds like such a stretch, but I totally get it. that actually happened to me recently, but instead of Wizard of Oz, it was specifically Wicked, just because so much of the Wicked, not even so much, all of the Wicked marketing is pink and green. And we were at a concert in Chicago last week, and there was a single moment. We went to Emperor and Blood Incantation, were the names of the bands playing. And one of the moments, the lights, they were like a bright green. And the other lights were just your standard, like white, yellow lights or whatever. But it was reflecting on something and it was kind of tinted a little bit pink. And I'm sitting there at this Blood Incantation show and my brain just goes, ha, Wicked! I was like, wow. I don't like what? It was completely involuntary. But yes, so same deal.
I would love to see some cross branding between Wicked and Blood Incantation. Dude, I would buy every t-shirt in that t-shirt line.
That'd be so cool.
We need to rate our ice cream, dude.
I know. Yeah, so let's remind the people, what are you eating?
Okay, so I made matcha ice cream for mine. I've been having the same thing the whole time. And you?
Yes, this is one of the first months that I've done the same thing every single time, except for that one day I forgot my sprinkles. But I did the lime strip from my rainbow sherbet bucket, topped with Halloween sprinkles, but specifically black, purple, white, and silver that I plucked out a la Alien.
In that you beamed them up from the sprinkle jar.
Yes, I beamed them up from the jar. Yes.
Well, what's your? I can't remember who went first last time.
I don't either, but I do have a rating. So I'll go first. Mine, I'm gonna give this a 3. I love a lime flavor. I struggle with the ratings because I immediately want to be like, it's not that I like it less than the raspberry because I rated it less than the raspberry. I actually like the lime flavoring better than the raspberry. It's just, if I'm being honest with myself, I have phoned it in the last couple of months, and I just that brought the rating down a little bit. It's time to pick it back up next month. Like, okay, we gotta lose the bucket of rainbow for next month. So yeah, this was a solid 3. I had a good experience with it, but I can do better next month.
Okay, I will say you get 5 stars for effort with the picking out sprinkles. That sounds so tedious, and I'm impressed you did it multiple times.
Since you've talked so much about being impressed, I will say every now and then a single lonely little orange bead would sneak in. Because the orange ones are like teensy little beads, whereas the other ones are just your standard sprinkles. There's also little green sugar thumbs in there for Frankenstein's monster, so I had to pluck all those out. There were none of those in there, which retrospectively would have been appropriate because they were green, but I'm getting ahead of myself. What's your rating?
I'm gonna give this a 2, and I'm sad about it.
Oh no! What?
I know.
Whoa! That's
I know. I
out
didn't
of
see it
left
coming
field.
Either. I know. I thought this was going to be a 5 for me. I'm a big matcha girl. Love myself a matcha. My issues with this are thus. There's too much matcha.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah. As a non-matcha girly, I hear you.
Yeah, and it's like the amount of matcha that's in here is enough that like my tongue feels a little bit powdery after I
Ooh,
eat it.
yeah, that's too
The
much.
flavor is nice, and it's not like chalky, but it's just not quite the right texture. I also think it really would have benefited from either some like graham cracker thing or
Mm.
maybe like melted marshmallow, like marshmallow fluff or something. Like it needed something else, I think.
Hmm.
So yeah, a bit of a disappointing run with the old matcha ice cream.
Well, I'm sorry it was not a great experience, but next month will be better.
That's
Maybe.
okay. Yeah, that's okay. I was saving up all of the happiness for next month because I am genuinely excited about next month's flavor, even though it's a little counterintuitive, which is a great segue. Should we?
It is.
Wait, you
So,
announce
yes,
it.
it is. So, yes, in this moment, I realized that. But you know what's funny? I won't make you announce it. But remember, part of the reason we did the whole flip flop like every 3 months, like we switch who starts, it was because both of us were like, oh, but if, we always do it this way, then I'm never going to be able to announce the ice cream. We were like wanting to announce
Really?
it. And now we're like, you do it, you do it. That was the reason that's top of mind is because we're in one of those months. We're
You're
next
right.
month. So like theoretically, based on our original structure, you would be
Oh my God.
announcing it. For next month because like it was the person who's not doing the episode was supposed to do it and we
You're
wanted to like give each
right.
other a chance to always be the one to do it every now and then. I just think that's so funny because now we're like, no, I don't want to. Anyway, I just
And
had
I
to
don't
bring
even
that
know
up.
because it's not hard to do. It's just
No, it's just pressure that like
it's like
when
a
you're
little
ready.
kid.
Yeah, when you're the one who's like ready to settle in to listen to a story and not have to do much, and then you have to intro the whole thing. That's like counterintuitive,
And then I have to spend an hour introducing our podcast.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny. I like had to bring that up.
That
Anyway,
is
so yes,
so.
we have a new month coming up, which means new topic and ice cream flavor. And the topic we will be discussing is stories having to do with hotels. Yes, hotels. I love a hotel.
Yes.
And to accompany those stories, the flavor is chocolate surprise. What is the surprise? I don't know. We don't know. It's a surprise. We'll all find out together next week, Tuesday, when we talk about hotels and eat chocolate surprise ice cream.
Yay! I am
Yay.
excited about this. I'm excited. And the reason I'm excited about it, despite not being a chocolate lover, is because the surprise, the open-endedness of the surprise in the prompt
Yeah.
means that I can find a way to incorporate chocolate in a way that I still enjoy, which is very exciting.
Yes.
I don't want to say I have news, but I've received a request to tell you something specifically on the podcast.
Oh my God, I love
So I'm
this
going
so
to
much.
tell you. I feel really bad about it. So, okay. Tom and I, we were in bed last night and we were watching, or were we, I don't know if we were in bed or on the couch. Last night, we watched this thing about the new Harry Potter cast because it's like big news, especially over here where they're filming it. Like a lot of people are talking about it. And we were talking about like the casting of kids and like how you find children that you are going to cast in this thing that wind up having to do it for like, over a decade, whatever. And Tom asked me if I thought he would have made a good Harry Potter
no.
when he was a kid. And I wrote down the quote because he made me.
Oh, no.
I said, I didn't mean it in a mean way, so I'll say it and then I'll explain it. I said,
Okay.
You would have made a great Harry Potter. You have dark hair and a sad air about you.
Okay, wait. Hold on a second. I do want you to explain for the people. Tom, I love you so much, but I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
Right. Okay, I'll explain.
You explain yourself, I'll explain myself. We love you, Tom.
We love him so much. Sad was the wrong word. He has a complexity about him and a depth that you can see and sense relatively quickly. And that's what I meant. Because, like, the whole thing with Harry Potter is, like, he's a kid who's been through some shit. And if you look at any pictures of Tom when he was a child, he didn't smile in any of them. He looks like
Not
a very
single one.
angry, sad, wide-eyed little dark-haired boy. And I'm like, yeah, that's Harry Potter. Like, that's what he's supposed to look like. And so that's what I said. And I didn't mean to say that he had a sad air about him. I meant to say he had obvious layers.
Yeah. Mine's a lot more straightforward. he's very British. He's got a very
He is
British,
very British
vibe. And like as an American, that would be how I would describe it. Like he's one of those people where like if you look at him, I'm like, I could see him with a British accent. And that's the sad air about him because I feel like there is I don't want to say buttoned up because that's not the right word, but it's a very like
It's like a stiff upper lip British
yeah,
thing.
like what I'm thinking and feeling stays in here and it's none of your business. You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a picture of him smiling like with teeth.
They exist now. I can't, you know what? I actually can't think
one
of a
has-
picture.
I don't think one has
I can't
ever
think of
been
one.
posted or sent to, or like, yeah, like any of the ones that we have from any of our trips or anything. I don't think there's a single one unless it's a candid that he didn't know about. But I think I might
Yeah.
just be because I've seen him laugh. Like, I'm not sitting here saying like he doesn't have emotions, but if we're talking strictly about what has been captured and what there is evidence of, I don't think that exists as far as I am concerned. Like, I have not seen this. I don't think.
Well, I know some
So-
of his friends listen to this podcast, so if you have pictures of Tom smiling,
Yeah, share them. Yeah, please share
share
them. I'm very curious because, like, I know what he looks like when he smiles. I don't want to sound like, is Tom happy? Because I know he is. But there is no photographic evidence of
Yeah.
this is in my possession, is what I'm saying.
We need empirical proof
Yes.
to
Yes,
validate
we
the
do.
hypothesis.
Yeah, we're very
So,
we're
yes.
very based in fact and science.
Yes, us, you and I, me and you, we, the
Together.
science girls, together, like two strands of DNA just helixing around each other. But yeah, so that was Tom's request. I am now publicly in trouble with the world for
Yes.
saying something mean, and I'll
Yeah.
pay my dues. I'm so sorry, everyone.
Despite the
I'll
fact
do
that I
better.
don't think you're wrong, I'm still going to lean into the punishment of you needing to publicly admit to not being entirely kind.
So sorry.
We love you, Tom. Anyway, speaking of
We do,
science
so
and
much.
facts, do you want to talk about aliens?
Yes, please.
Let's talk about empirical evidence. What?
All right.
Evidence?
Evidence.
Sorry. Okay.
just one piece of evidence. I
Just the
need a
one
single.
single. The photo of Tom smiling is on the UFO that we will be discussing today. Is Tom Roswell? I don't know. Off to a great start. Speaking of Roswell, that's not what this episode is about at all. But that being said, in order to fully convey today's topic, which is Men in Black, we do need to take it back to the Roswell incident, which we haven't discussed on this podcast. Pretty big alien story. But in my head, we've talked about it. I don't know why, but I checked and we haven't. So just gonna do a quick summary of it. I feel like a lot of people are familiar with Roswell and understand it as a place that people go to for alien things. But I'm just gonna give a refresher on the story that led to why that is the way it is, because that directly leads into our story about the Men in Blacks. Here in the United States, Roswell, New Mexico is kind of known as the alien capital of the country, and that is because in 1947, a rancher found some strange mechanical debris on his property, which was, you guessed it, in Roswell. And after he found it, there was this big announcement in the press that the U.S. Air Force had recovered debris from a, quote, flying disc. And this news spread internationally immediately. Like, it was this huge discovery. It was on the front page across the world in a matter of like a day or two. It spread very, very quickly. But just as quickly as it spread, it was almost immediately retracted from numerous newspapers, especially here in the United States. The initial breaking news kind of sparked something in a lot of people. Those who did not previously believe in aliens started to kind of wonder, like, could there be something else out there that we don't know about? And those who were already interested in extraterrestrial research saw this kind of as proof that aliens not only exist, but they are like actively here and trying to communicate with humans on Earth. Of course, the US military was like, no, we're just testing weather balloons. And that is, of course, when the retractions started coming out. But the damage had already been done. People were far too smart to fall for the weather balloon nonsense. And the immediate retraction really only intensified people believing that it was something extraterrestrial. Like, their view was like, you know, why are you worried so quickly about this? Like, why are you trying to cover it up so fast? So to this day, Roswell is a huge tourist destination for those who want to see like where aliens first crash landed in the United States. But anyway, so why am I talking about Roswell? Good question. Like I said, this incident really spurred a lot of excitement, but also fear and curiosity, and just all these really strong and complex emotions around extraterrestrial life and research. But we now are kind of combining the military involvement in it because the Air Force was so quick to jump into the Roswell discussion that people are now like, okay, not just are there aliens, but if they're lying to us about this quote weather balloon, what else could be out there and what else could they be lying to us about? So tensions are high, particularly for those who are actively researching extraterrestrial phenomena, which an astounding amount of people were / still are to this day. But one in particular was a man named Albert K. Bender. And Albert had served in the Air Force during World War, I can never say this, World War II. World War II. I always want to say World War. Like, I'm like,
World War.
World War II. Like, it's not a tongue twister at all, but I don't know, I just can't say World War II. It's kind of like the word rural. That's kind of what my mouth feels like. World
or
War
squirrel.
II. Squirrel. Oh my god, I love when Scottish people say squirrel. Have you ever seen those videos or heard so? Oh my god, it's the best. Those are my favorite. And like the confusion on their faces, like what the F? Okay.
While we're giggling, I do have to point out that dude's name is Birdie Bender.
Birdie Bender, that's fantastic. I was gonna pause on the last name Bender. I did not make the Bert connection, but that's fantastic. Bert K. Bender.
You know what scares me even more than ghosts? My bank account, and especially saving for retirement.
If you feel the same way about your own retirement savings, fret not, little spoons, because we've got something to save you from yourselves.
Our friend of the pod, Chloe, aka Chloe Bear Money Coach, and founder of the Lazy Investors course, is teaching women how to build wealth without turning into a finance bro. If investing feels confusing, overwhelming, or just downright terrifying, download Chloe's free investing guide at getlazynow.com.
It walks you through how to build wealth the lazy way, which I can personally attest to because I've been using her services for many years, and you all know how lazy I like to be. Effort, gross, hate it. If you hate it too, visit getlazynow.com to grab the free investing guide from Chloe Bear Money Coach. That's getlazynow.com. But yes, so he was extremely interested in the supernatural and all things strange and unusual. He was a sci-fi guy. And as an aside, I have a lot of asides in this episode, but as I was researching, I was really curious about which came first. Like, did he join the Air Force because he was an alien guy? Or did he like see something while he was up there or have an experience or something like that like made him interested in researching UFOs and aliens and stuff like that? I don't have an answer for that, and I know you don't either, but it's just one of those things that, like, it's a chicken or the egg situation for me. Like, I was just curious, because that kind of comes up quite a bit. There's a lot of Air Force discussion in this episode. So anyway, he's a UFO researcher, and he was super invested in the Roswell incident, and he did such intense research on flying saucers and kind of strange sky sighting things. And the things he found kind of tended to hold a little bit of weight with people, at least the few people that he shared it with. This wasn't like super out in the open while he was doing it. He was in the Air Force. So a lot of the instances where people see UFOs or strange things in the sky, a lot of the explanations for those things are often Air Force related, right? Like a lot of nighttime military training excuses, stuff like that. He's familiar with military training. So if he's seeing something in the sky that doesn't match his experience in the Air Force with Air Force training, that just adds a little bit of credibility that someone like, me spotting something that has no idea what goes on in the Air Force and would never claim to know something like that. It's just different. Like the amount of credibility is just objectively not the same. So a lot of people believe his research into UFOs got a little too close for the government's comfort, because in 1953, it is reported that he was visited by 3 very intimidating men dressed in black suits and sunglasses who insisted that he cease his UFO research immediately or bad things would happen.
Oh!
Yeah, dude.
Is this where it comes from? I didn't know that.
Yeah, dog.
Yeah, dog.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Hell
All
yeah,
right.
man.
I'm
Buckle up,
strapping
baby.
in.
Put on your tinfoil
I'm
hat
ready to
because this
go.
is Men in Black. Here come the Men in Black.
I'm going to Miami. That's a Will Smith song.
Yeah. Yes. So, anyway, yes, this is the Men in Black. And Albert did not fight it. He just shut down his operation immediately. The fact that he was so invested in this research and dedicated to finding answers and learning what was out there, and he put so much time and energy into all these different projects, only to just up and quit, really fueled the narrative that he had been very strongly either intimidated or blackmailed or something by these men. The following year, he married his sweetheart, Betty Rose, who also, I know, so
Betty
cute.
Bender?
Betty Rose Bender!
Betty Bender!
Yes, so cute. But she also claimed to have had an encounter with strange or like supernatural related beings. It is unclear to me. I'm sure it's clear to someone. I didn't have time to fall down this rabbit hole, but she claimed to be visited by someone. Unclear whether it was the Men in Black or if she had her own alien encounter, or if it was something else entirely. I don't know. But this is to say she believed Albert, and she knew that he was probably onto something as far as UFOs are concerned. And, she believed that he really was visited by these 3 men because he was getting so close to something. So fast forward to just a few years later, in 1956, a man named Gray Barker published a book titled They Knew Too Much About Flying Saucers. Very straightforward. And in this book, Gray details the first ever accounts of flying saucer sightings, the first of which happened in 1947, the same year as the Roswell incident, potentially related. In addition to the UFO sightings, Gray also shares Albert's personal account with the Men in Black, and this is the first time that we see any story about the Men in Black in print, and Albert's is not the only one. They're not explicitly referred to as Men in Black in this book, but that is, who they are or who they would become or whatever. But the whole book is basically about people who learned too much and the government got involved essentially. So after this book is published, numerous people come forward to say, hey, I am also a UFO research person, and I had a very similar experience with these mysterious men. And because of all these new accounts coming out of the woodwork, the physical descriptions of these men become more detailed at this point, and we start getting a look at who they actually might be. So they were described as having a very serious demeanor, which we've also already kind of discussed with Albert. And they spoke in a very like monotone, no nonsense manner. And the suits they were wearing seemed kind of outdated, like they'd been doing this for a very long time. And they were always in dark suits. You know, I'm imagining kind of like a vintage Secret Service guy, very like top secret, you know, we don't have time for aesthetics. We're just concerned with the destruction of all humankind, but we still need to look official kind of situation. You know the type.
I wonder what cargo shorts you buy to go with that aesthetic.
So yeah, this is where the image of like, you know, the guy with the glasses and, you know, very Secret Service-y, but like alien related. So then in October of 1967, a supernatural researcher named John Keel wrote an article for Saga magazine in which he officially coined the phrase Men in Black. Throughout the article, he had referred to them as mystery men or, quote, agents, like literally agents in quotation marks. But then he also, toward like the middle of the article, refers to them as Men in Black, capital M, capital B. And this is when this group of mysterious UFO men officially have their name. And in this article, it's titled Agents of Terror, by the way. He starts off with this story of an anonymous photographer who was out one night in California capturing photos when he was, quote, stunned to see a huge unearthly metallic disc hovering over him. And this guy claimed to have captured several photos of it before it basically zipped straight upward and just vanished right into the sky. So he raced home to his darkroom to develop this film, and he was absolutely delighted to find that he had actually captured this thing, and like there were actual real photos of it. So he develops the film, hangs them up to dry, and then he leaves them to process. But when he comes back, everything is gone. The developed photos, the negatives, the film that had been in his camera, like everything was just taken. So he calls a friend who happens to be a scientist and amateur ufologist, and he confides in this friend and tries to like figure out what could have happened because he was so proud of like, you know, having captured this evidence. And that's when his friend tells him that there have been all of these stories happening all over the place to a lot of people, similar situation, and it's suspected to be the Men in Black. So not every person who, quote, had an encounter with the Men in Black even saw them or interacted with them. The story was they just like know somehow when someone has an encounter. It's almost like the whole Big Brother situation. Like they're always watching, and the moment, you don't even have to tell anyone. It's just the moment you have an interaction, they show up, take care of business, shut it down. Like bing, bang, boom, it's taken care of. This was never here. It was never seen. You never got any evidence, whatever. So this is all being recounted in this article, and it doesn't like outright blame the Men in Black. It kind of just alludes to the fact that they could have been responsible, or at least the theory is the Men in Black were responsible for things like this. And at this point, we still do not know exactly who these Men in Black are or who sent them. Are they part of the government, or are they just like alien hunting guys, or just any old random person trying to squash evidence? But a lot of people suggest that it has to do specifically with the Air Force. So the main theory proposed in this article specifically is the fact that there is like some specific branch or whatever of the US Air Force that, you know, this is like a team that is put together who does know about the aliens, but they are tasked with making sure that no one else does ever. One of the reasons that this theory was like backed up quite a bit is there was still a question of, are they trying to guard these UFOs because of aliens, or is it because there are some other government conspiracy going on? Like, does it have nothing to do with UFOs whatsoever? You know, like, this is in the 60s. A lot of shit was going on that the government was like, you know, worried about. Citizens were all paranoid, etc., etc. If that is the case, I kind of feel like they should have just left people alone, because if people were researching and like stumbling upon pictures of these weapons or, you know, whatever aircraft things that they were building and they thought they were aliens, I feel like that would have been a good thing. The government could have just been like, yeah, they're aliens, not a secret weapon that we're going to use to like bomb a bunch of people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's
Yeah.
almost like a vote for aliens as far as I'm concerned.
That makes sense to me. I think
Yeah.
the only thing I can think of is like maybe they didn't want word spreading crazy fast so that everyone
Hmm.
was starting to look into these supposed aliens, and then it
Other
turns
people
out that
more important.
yeah,
Yeah, that's so true. That's a good point.
yeah, maybe. But I hear what you're saying because it is like a
Yeah.
throw them off the scent kind of
That's
thing.
it, yeah. I also just really love the idea that each military branch having a top secret, like, monster unit. Like, does the Navy have a team that knows about all the sea monsters?
I'm gonna ask my parents. They'll tell me.
Hmm.
They're retired now. They don't
They
have
can
any
tell
obligation
you.
to our government anymore.
Your mom would tell you. I know that for a fact.
My mom would for sure tell me. I'm gonna
Yeah,
ask my mom.
yeah. She would tell you in a way that wasn't telling you.
You
Do you
know
know what I
what
mean?
though? My mom, I feel like I'm gonna ask her and she's gonna say something like, "We're not allowed to talk about that." And that'll just be the end of the story.
That'll be it forever.
Yeah.
That's a deathbed discussion, Gina.
I'm gonna try. I'll
Mind
try
your
and I'll let you know what she
manners.
says.
Yeah. Yeah, please try. And that, because what else? Because so, yeah, Navy is water, monsters, Air Force is aliens. That makes sense. Army is like, what's their deal? Land?
Yeah, so like cryptids, I guess.
Yeah, big. They know about Bigfoot. Yeah,
Yeah.
that just makes sense to me. So anyway, this article that this Keel guy wrote basically breaks down all of these strange things the Air Force was doing and suggests that it was because they were hell bent on quieting anyone who got too close to finding out stuff they didn't want people to find out. And I'll have a copy of the article linked in the show notes for anyone who wants to take a look. It is quite long. It's, you know, worth a read. And one thing that I did want to bring up, this doesn't necessarily have to do with Men in Black, but I thought it was interesting. As a side note, this John Keel, the one who wrote the article, after his initial research, he actually did end up concluding that he did not believe that extraterrestrials exist, which was pretty notable because that's what he did. Like, he was involved in a lot of high strange cases. But he instead believed that people were seeing things that they either wanted to see or basing their experiences off of what other people were experiencing. So he was essentially a skeptic who gave the research what I'm going to call a fair shot, but ended up concluding he did not have enough evidence to support the fact that extraterrestrial beings were real. And I think it's a fair shot specifically because of what I said earlier. There was so much going on in the 60s, especially a lot of fear, you know, around like the memory of World War II, Cold War. We're moving into like Vietnam era. Like, people are learning that they can't totally trust their government. There was just like a lot of emotional things happening that could kind of lead people to being not totally trustworthy of their government, which I have no opinion on whatsoever. But yeah, all of this is to say there was so much going on in like the 60s and 70s that I do think that it's fair to be skeptical of identifying that maybe this government agency could be, you know, fucking with people for any number of things beyond just aliens, you know? So that was kind of the conclusion that he came to. But like I said, he did a lot of research into a lot of other high strange cases. There's some connection between Men in Black and Mothman. I don't know what that is.
Wow.
That was a whole other rabbit hole that I didn't have time to go down, but he made that connection. Like, he looked into that. Like, could that have been a strange alien situation in Men in Black or whatever? There's like a whole thing there that I highly recommend people looking into. Anyway, despite the fact that there was research and people looking into the Men in Black and, you know, debating whether or not this was a thing that was really happening, whether or not it, you know, these men existed at all, let alone were part of the government. There was a lot of discourse on that. Regardless of that, the rumors of the Men in Black did persist, and the prevalence of these stories just continued to grow. Everyone knows someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone who had an experience with the Men in Black. And then moving into the 70s and 80s, the stories kind of started to change quite a bit from genuine accounts or claims of, weird government agents trying to cover up encounters to something even weirder. Witnesses started suggesting that they could potentially be something non-human. Like, they're not even agents at all. They are, like, not trying to cover up an entity, but they are themselves an entity.
I love that theory.
I thought you were going to like that, yeah.
That's excellent.
Yes, yeah. It kind of feels like a Black-Eyed Kid situation, a little bit. Like, not exactly, but, these guys show up out of nowhere, intimidate you, and then bounce, never to be seen again. One of the reasons people... Not even one of the reasons, but the reason people started to kind of go in this direction with the theories is the descriptions of these men kind of started to change. They were described as having very robotic movements and kind of strange speech patterns. This is why it kind of reminds me of the Black-Eyed Kids, because it's like they were human but not human, And just kind of bizarre interactions. Like, one example is not knowing very basic human information that the average person would be able to understand or know. There's one example of this, which is about a woman who encountered the Men in Black. I don't know the full story or, why they showed up, or like, was she a UFO researcher or knew someone who was? I don't know the beginning of the story, but it is said that when they showed up, it was around like breakfast time, and she was either making toast or had breakfast made or something, but she offered them some. She gave them some toast to have, and when she gave one of them a jar of jam so that he could put it on the toast, instead of spreading it on the bread, he attempted to drink it like a beverage.
Hell yeah.
Like, he didn't know what to do with this weird gloppy, gloopy stuff, which is a very alien thing to do, right? Like, I think this is what the humans do with glass things at the table. I will drink it. You know what I mean?
Okay, you know what? I will say, if it was like a homemade jam, that can be much gloopier than like a normal jam, to the point where it is kind of drinkable. So maybe it was that.
But, like, would a human being think that they could drink a jar of jam? Like, I see what you're saying, but
no.
Like, one thing that I like about this theory is, what if it's both? What if they really are, military or, like, government personnel tasked with keeping these alien or whatever you want to call them a secret? But what if they're not U.S. government personnel? What if they are extraterrestrial government personnel? And, like, someone sees a saucer and they're like, uh-oh, they saw us. Bloop. You forget, blah, blah, blah. And then they, like, hop back on, like, the ship or whatever and fuck off to wherever they came from.
I do like that idea. I do have an immediate gut reaction of like, ugh, space feds,
Yeah, I don't know.
The space fuzz.
I wonder if, like, because I guess we wouldn't be part of their jurisdiction. Unless they're galactic. It's like,
Keep going.
No, I don't want to. Of course, you must consider someone in charge of the whole galaxy. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay for a federal... Like, I am part of, like, the federal agent's jurisdiction, even though they're all the way in D.C., or whatever, So it's like, if you've got some galactic agent, we would be part of that jurisdiction.
You know what I'm picturing right now? That scene from Lilo and Stitch, where Stitch is like...
Who?
Okay,
so yes, that animation for that guy is based on the Men in Black. That's like, yes, that's
really?
The vibe. Yes.
What was his name? Like Agent Bubbles or Officer
I don't
Bubbles
remember.
or something like
Bubbles.
that?
It's Bubbles, I think. Is it Bubbles?
Yeah. I'm positive that it's Bubbles, but I can't remember if it was like agent or detective or officer, whatever. It was Bubbles.
Maybe detective. I don't know. It was something.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That is fun.
He's based on Men in Black, yeah.
Okay, I dig that.
So this, I mean, honestly, this is the general story of Men in Black up to like the 80s-ish. They're considered very dangerous men, if men at all, and they will allegedly stop at nothing to silence people who get too close to the quote-unquote truth. As we discussed in the Valiant Thor episode, we know our guy Frank Strange's from that episode had numerous encounters with them, but he's not the only one who was put in dangerous situations in the name of being silenced. The stories that came out around this time were super sinister. I mean, from the beginning, they were always kind of rooted in blackmail, intimidation, and they kind of started to grow more and more dangerous as time went on. That is, of course, until the year 1997, when one of my mother's favorite movies of the 1990s was released, none other than Men in Black, starring Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones. So this movie and subsequent franchise and animated series absolutely transformed the public opinion and understanding of Men in Black. And that is to say, there really wasn't much of a public opinion or understanding on them really at all. Pretty much the whole like non-tinfoil hat wearing normie crowd really didn't know about this story. Most people, when that movie came out, had no idea that it was based on quote unquote a true story or collection of stories or legends or whatever you want to call them at this point. Because remember, the first time a story about Men in Black ever came out back in the 50s, it was a true story as far as Albert was concerned. So like we're talking half a century here of claims that this really exists. But at this point, it kind of was urban legend material, even though for so long it was considered, at least for one part of, you know, one specific demographic, it was thought of as a fully true story. So naturally, the energy around the concept of the Men in Black shifted in the 90s. It was no longer this sinister, scary thing. It was a lot more humorous, far less, you know, serious, and people just generally didn't think of it as reality at all. It was just a movie, you know. That is, of course, until present day, we now have short form storytelling by way of the interwebs and social media, which, you know, people are starting to kind of swing back to like, this is real, and, you know, I've had a real encounter, etc., etc. But it's no longer just the weirdos or alien people talking about it. It's kind of woven throughout every demographic. So we've kind of come full circle. And one of the biggest places where this happens and stories are shared is, of course, our girl Reddit. Gina, I cannot stress, I found so many stories on Reddit about personal encounters with that. Like, it got to the point where I had to, every single time I found one, like a good one and a detailed one, I had to check to see, like, what are the rules of this subreddit? Like, is fictional storytelling allowed? Like, is this real? Is this not? And like, some of them were works of fiction, but so many are genuine claims of encounters with Men in Black that I am like astounded.
Okay.
It's like, I don't know, maybe I'm being dramatic, but I was not expecting so many. I feel like I've been in ghost story world my whole life. I've not experienced this like UFO corner of this like encounter portion of the internet. I don't know. I was floored by how many I found. But I am going to share one person's story. It was a comment left in the UFO subreddit on a post that was asking, has anyone here actually had their own personal encounter? And like, I mean, there were so many. But I'm going to share this one. It is from user Decrim, Iowa. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I think that's what it is. Anyway, okay. It says, it's not the classic guys in suits type story, but I did have an experience with a man in black clothing right after a UFO experience. While house sitting for a friend in August 2013 in a suburb of Minneapolis, I had a close encounter / missing time experience that is too long and complicated to go into in detail here. The gist of the story is this. I saw some orbs in the sky, very similar to the ones that were seen in the wave of sightings on the East Coast last fall and winter. And then I saw a tic-tac-toe shaped cloud. I lost consciousness for about an hour. I regained consciousness on my knees near where I had seen the strange cloud a few hundred feet away from where I had been sitting. Shortly after all that happened, a friend came over to the house because we had been planning to grill and then go to a concert. And he found me in a state of agitation, ranting about orbs and aliens and clouds and missing time. He was understandably worried. The doorbell rang and we both went to answer it, as we had been expecting someone from the utilities company to come and check the meters prior to the heat and water starting. Our other friend had just purchased the house, so they were like there as house things were getting set up or whatever. I answered the door first and immediately noticed some weird stuff about the guy standing in front of me. For starters, he was dressed in what looked like military/SWAT team gear, all black without insignia, wraparound sunglasses, with what looked like a bulletproof vest with a walkie-talkie, flashlight, etc. in all the pockets. A military-style baseball cap, no utility company logos or anything. He didn't ask us anything about the utilities, but instead asked me how I was feeling and asked my friend how long he had been at the house and if he had just arrived. My friend, who was skeptical of the UFO stuff but a bit worried about me in my agitated/ranting state, was even a little weirded out by this, asking him, "You are here for the utilities, right?" Another weird thing, he wasn't driving a utility truck. He was driving what appeared to be a customized pickup truck, brand new and shiny, no logos, no ladder or toolboxes in the bed, all black and blacked out windows. The truck was parked in a very strange way, perpendicular to the driveway, blocking my friend and I in with very bright headlights on, despite the fact that it was early afternoon. We confirmed that this weird SWAT guy was indeed here for the utilities as planned, and he said he would meet us around back where the meter was located. So my friend and I walked to the back of the house. It would have only taken us about 10, maybe 20 seconds max from leaving the guy at the front door to coming out into the backyard. By the time we got out there, the guy in black wasn't there. We looked around the corner. He was completely gone. His huge pickup truck, gone. No sign of it on the street. We hadn't heard any engine noises from it turning on or driving away. No sign of anything at all. This weird guy had somehow disappeared in the 10 seconds we walked through the house. My friend, who was skeptical, had to admit it was weird. And of course, I was immediately ranting about the men in black, how they're going to get me, ruin my life, target me as an abductee, make me into a crazy person with brain lasers and harassment, etc. Luckily, none of that happened, and now I am very mentally healthy and stable and well-adjusted, which is why I spend my free time making long posts on conspiracy subreddits.
The self-awareness is funny.
Obsessed. So that's the end of the story.
Ooh, I'm wondering if that was just someone casing the place to try
I honestly,
to rob
like,
it.
that was kind of my... So the weird part is he specifically mentioned, like, the military, like, SWAT uniform or whatever. I feel like if someone was casing the place, that is, like, objectively a notable... Like, if anything happened,
you would
someone
remember.
would be like, yeah, someone straight up lied about being a utilities guy, and I could tell because they were dressed in, like, government official gear. You know what I mean? Like, if he was casing the place, he would have dressed like a utilities guy.
I do love the idea that there's been like an outfit or a uniform change amongst the men in black.
Honestly,
love the glow up.
Love the glow up, and especially around 2013, that was so deeply in, like, the bro era, and, like, he mentions like the wraparound sunglasses and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I feel like Men in Black would do that. Like, they're on to us. We need to stop dressing in outdated clothing. So that's Men in Black.
Okay. Oh yeah. All right. I really want to watch the movie now. Desperately, actually.
I know, me too. That song's been stuck in my head. It's like every time I go into research, I'm like, here come the Men in Black. I've been, like, singing myself to sleep with that every night.
Sweet, sweet lullaby. Fascinating. All right. I had never thought about the fact that maybe they were aliens before. I love that idea.
I love that. I love the idea of this galactic agent or whatever the hell.
That makes a lot more sense to me than the stereotype of Men in Black I have in my head. Because you make such a good point about why would they be drawing so much attention to something they ostensibly don't want people to talk about. Yeah.
Which, although, I mean, it's one of those things where I'm like, I do love how we think it's a lot more realistic that an alien government official would try to silence someone versus just a regular human one. Like, I don't know. It feels like there's something there. Don't ask me to explain the logic, though, because I don't know.
One side of the coin is fun, the other side is sad. So we'll pick the fun side.
Thank you, exactly. You know what I've learned about myself, which I kind of love? I'm a lot more into government conspiracy theories than I thought I was.
Oh my God, I love that journey for you.
I know, me too. Who knew? No clue. Anyway, I'll unpack that later. Do you perhaps have something very spooky on me? What? On me? I meant for me.
I'm
Sorry.
about to.
Do you have any weird blackmail that you can share with our friends?
All right, I do have something for you. We're going to play a little game.
Yes! I love games!
So, do you remember a while ago we were talking about the card game Medium?
Oh my God, I think about this all the time. I think about playing this with you all the time.
We're going to play it. Okay, so
oh my God, stop, really? Wait, sorry, I'm going to calm down.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're not going to play the actual
scared.
card game because I don't have the card game, but I definitely want to get it and play it with you formally one day. Instead, we're going to play just like a verbal version of it. So the way it works is I have compiled a list of 100-ish words. I kind of lost count. There's around 100 words. Well, I used a word generator to help me, so it's
okay. Wow.
It didn't take
you should not have told me that. I was just so impressed with you.
I hand carved 100 words into clay tablets, and we're both going to pick a random word. I actually built a random word generator for us in a spreadsheet that will pick from the words that I put in there because they're all like spooky words or words that have related to episodes that we've done or something like that. So we both pick a word and we like tell each other what those words are. It's not a secret. And then on the count of 3, we say a word that we think connects those two words. So for example, if I picked the word ocean, and you picked the word salt, I might say water, for example.
I was like, oh my God, nothing connects those two. I'm so scared of this game. I'm going to be so bad at this game.
Because there's salt in, like, ocean water. But you could also pick, like, fish, for example, because of saltwater fish.
That's the word that popped into my head.
Well, there we go. Yeah. So if I said, what did I say? Water, and you say fish, we would have to do it again. Because we didn't say the same word. But instead, this time, we would try and pick a word that connects fish and water. You see what I mean? So, like, we keep going and going until we eventually, hopefully, say the same word.
Say the same word. Okay. I need a minute to digest because I'm suddenly very scared. Because I'm going to way overthink this.
I recognize that we are working in an audio-based medium right now, which means saying words at the same time might be difficult for people listening who can't tell what we're saying. So we could write down what our words are instead and then read them to each other.
Maybe.
And that would give us a little bit more time instead of being like 1, 2, 3 word.
Scary. Yeah, that feels a little less scary to me.
Let's do that.
Okay. I'm just like trying to calm down because I'm still overthinking everything.
We can take as long as we want. We are in no rush with this.
See, in my head, I'm like, this is a friendship test.
This is not a friendship test. Okay, actually, if you want to know, this might make you feel better. One of the first games that Tom and I ever played together was this game. And it took us like 20 tries to get to the same word. And I actually got a little bit angry and competitive about it. And it's a miracle that he still wanted to be with me. But I've already had that experience. And I now realize that's not how you play games. And so we're going to have fun. Okay, I got Baba Yaga. What'd you get?
I got serial killer.
Oh, Baba Yaga and serial killer. Okay. Oh, gosh. All right. Are you ready? Do you have your thing?
Yes.
What did you put? Do you want me to go first?
You can go first.
I put the word fear.
I put the word fire.
Okay. Ooh. Okay, so now we need to think of words that connect fear and fire. I'm ready too. I put burning.
Oh, I put death.
Oh, okay. Well.
I just skipped past all that.
All right. So burning
Burning and death.
and death. Okay. I have one.
Okay. Are we allowed to repeat words?
No, you are not allowed to repeat
Okay.
words. I think that is a rule. Unless you want to
Burning
repeat
and
words.
I mean, okay, I guess I have one.
I'm going to
so
try and
scared.
send it to you.
I don't know if I don't know. Okay. I'm overthinking this.
All right. What did you put?
Ash.
I put pain.
I'm going like chronological. I'm like my next word is gonna be ghost. Like it has nothing to do with
All right.
like.
Well, let's see if we get the same one this time.
See, now I'm rethinking it because I'm still thinking of like the first two, and I know that that's not what you're supposed to be doing, but like that's my brain is just going like, what happens next? Wait, so what was yours?
Decomposition. Pain.
Pain and ash.
Ash.
And you're sure you can't repeat words?
Maybe we can repeat words this one time.
Okay, I'm gonna repeat the word.
What did you put?
So mine is fire.
Mine is burning.
Oh my god. Okay. All right, I have one last word before I give up.
Okay, what is it? Burning and fire?
Fire and burning. I have one last word that I'll share.
Me too.
All right, I did candle for this one.
I did flame. Okay, you know what?
So anyway,
here's the moral of the story. We may not have said the same words, but we said very complimentary words.
I mean, emotionally, all of those words were basically the same from start to finish.
Yes.
We got very close right off the bat.
We did. And to be fair, I don't know like what words the actual game medium uses. I might have accidentally put a bunch of really tricky words into a list. So we were probably playing this on like Olympic level, which is very impressive.
I think we did such a good job.
I think we did a great job.
The most impressive version of that game I personally have ever experienced.
Well, yes, that is your scary on top for the day.
I love that. Thank you.
No problem. We do also occasionally read out stories on our Scary on Top. So if you have a story you would like to hear at the end of the episode, feel free to send it to iscreamyouscreampod@gmail.com. Also, just a quick reminder, we have a Patreon. It's super fun. You would totally love it. You should click the link in our show notes and check it out. But until next time, little spoons, keep it cool.
And keep it creepy.